As a creative, people see you as like a remote where they just press you, pim, 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 and you're meant to vomit content. People don't understand when you say that you're having a burnout. They're like, okay, but we need you to create. Like you need to come up with something. If you don't have a place where you go to and say, Holy Spirit, help me, fill me afresh again, you would honestly be tired. I've always spoken openly about how I believe rest should be a part of your journey as a creative, because honestly, if you don't rest, your body will teach you to rest. And a lot of people don't know this, but your mind is your greatest office as a creative. Hi guys, you're welcome back to this channel. It's been a very hot minute. I fell sick a couple of weeks ago, and honestly speaking, it was a lot to deal with. At the beginning of this year, I told myself that I was going to post every single week, but honestly, during this period of time, I could not get myself to do anything. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you 4 things that I learned that I believe will help you in your own journey. But before we get into that, my space has changed. Did you notice that? This is probably like the 100th time. I did a video where I was talking about how I transformed my living room space into a whole content shooting space, because for the longest time, one of the reasons why I didn't want to start shooting YouTube videos was because I felt like I didn't have a space, and so I would be thinking about how I could rent spaces. Well, you know how expensive those things are. I decided that instead of renting spaces, I'm going to be turning my living room into a space that feels comfortable enough for me to shoot. So a couple of weeks ago, I became increasingly tired of the space that I was in. I liked that I was able to at least change my living room to become something more comfortable for me to shoot in. So first of all, I reached out to an interior designer.
It can take your money eventually.
Really?
Yeah, for vanishing.
And you guys, the amount that the woman called just to transform the living room alone, it was in millions. And I was like, you know what? I'm a creative, you know. Well, shout out to her though, because she's really good at what she does. And honestly, in the process of doing this thing, I realized why interior designers charge the amount that they do, because I went through a lot in the hand of artisans in this Lagos, Nigeria. And it was then I realized that what she's actually charging for is the stress. So the stress I had to deal with the carpenters, with the painters, she would have been dealing with all of that, and all I would have had to do is honestly just come into my space and meet it done. So shout out to interior designers, you're doing very well. And so I basically went on Pinterest and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go on Pinterest and I'm going to find the kind of space that I want to build, and I'm going to give it to a carpenter and trust that the Holy Spirit will lead. I mean, in the Bible, Bezalel and Oholiab were led. They were skilled in all kind of crafts. So I believe, I really believe that, right? And I started praying over it, and honestly speaking, they actually got this space. I'm so happy, you guys. This was the inspo that I went for. This I don't even know what color this is, but it's beige or like cream. I wanted that kind of couch. I'm going to show the before and the after towards the end, so you better stay to watch that transformation. Yeah, that's a little nugget for you guys. I just wanted a really nice, you know, U-shaped couch. I wanted like a TV console and like a small circle couch, you know. I wanted to change the curtains in my house, because the curtains that I had before were like gray curtains, and I was like, you know, I want this calm, you know, welcoming vibe for my channel. And so yeah, I gave that to the carpenters, and you guys, this carpenter did it. I don't think I have. So before, in the past, the carpenters I used to use, honestly, they would frustrate me. They would do the work, but it wasn't anything amazing. But these particular carpenters, they did it really well. They got the vision. Every time I'm here and I walk in, it just gets me so excited to want to create. And I think that that is what holds a lot of creatives back. Even if we always say, oh, it doesn't matter, start with where you are. I know how sometimes when I walk into some spaces, I am honestly inspired to want to create just because of the space, right? And I'm just really grateful, because it's been a long time coming. Honestly, at the beginning of this year, I was shooting videos on my window. I was literally shooting videos on my window. It wasn't clear, it was horrible, you know. I knew I wasn't happy with it. My wardrobe was all over the place, things were all over the place. I would have to just try to make sense of my background, and I was telling God, please, I just need a better space. And you know, he gave me Zechariah 4 verse 10. Do not despise the days of little beginnings, and I'll start there. And then I moved to, you know, realizing that okay, instead of shooting in my room, I can try just rearranging my couch in such a way. That was so frustrating, because literally every time I want to shoot, I would have to turn the living room upside down and pick a particular corner and put like the vase and everything, but this is just honestly makes me so happy and so comfortable. There's still like little here and there to be done. Like for instance, I want to get like a plant behind me. I just put that vase there for now, but I'm not done. There's still some things I want to do. I want to get a plant behind me. I really like those plants. I feel like they just bring out the natural, feel to video. But honestly, in this time, I've been telling God I really need a camera. I really want to get a camera. I'm trusting God for a new camera because I'm tired of shooting on my phone. I want a camera. I need a camera. I really do, because I think it's just going to really improve on the work that I do. I think it's just really going to improve on the work that I do. I want to change like my sound. All of these things cost money, but I'm really trusting God. I mean, I could never have thought and imagined that I'll be shooting in this kind of space right now. So I'm trusting that the same God that was able to do this will do that. So yeah, anyways, enough about the space. This past week I was sick, and that is one of the reasons why I've actually been inconsistent here. This particular time it just felt like I really couldn't do anything, and I want to share 4 things that I learned during this period that I really believe will help you. Number 1, I learned the need to rest. We live in a world and a society where we are taught to always be on the go. Like you always need to be on the go. You always need to be on your A game. You can't rest. You need to be moving. And what that begins to create is you become a society of recycled, tired people. You're making money, but you are actually not happy. You're making money, but you're tired. You're complaining every day. You're frustrated. That's not the kind of life I want to live. And I am a very, very ambitious person. And so if I say I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Even if I'm tired, I will keep pressing. And that sounds very, very good and mighty and strong, but it honestly has its bad side, because it kind of tends to make me begin to think that I'm working in and of my own strength and of my power. And in this period, I just sense the Holy Spirit really telling me and calling me to rest, because who am I not to rest? God rested on the 7th day and He created the whole world. Right? It became apparent to me that my mind couldn't shut down. And as a creative, we don't talk about it enough. And I always say it, how your mind doesn't shut down. Your mind doesn't stop bubbling about all the things you can create and bring to life. You're always thinking, oh, I can do that. Oh, you just have a new idea, and you just keep having new ideas. And, and sometimes you just want your brain to just shut down. And honestly, in this period, I learned rest. I was able to rest. I felt really guilty. I felt like I needed to come and give like an explanation to my community members, but I just said, you know what, Valerie, you're going to rest. Another thing that I learned during this period is the need to surrender to God continuously. It's very, very easy to begin to function in the flesh, and especially as a Christian and a Christian creative. I don't know how a lot of people create, but for me, I literally cannot do anything without the Holy Spirit. And I'm not even trying to sound Christianese or anything, because it gets to a point where you begin to feel like, because you've acquired knowledge and you've read, you've studied, you read about the algorithm, you read about the content that's working, you just begin to think that you know what to do. And I know I keep saying as a creative, because it's so real. This is experiential knowledge for me, right? As a creative, people see you as like a remote where they just press you, pim, 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 and you're meant to vomit content. It is in that place of surrender that you go back to God and He fills you afresh again. People don't understand when you say that you're having a burnout. They're like, okay, but we need you to create. Like you need to come up with something. If you don't have a place where you go to and say, Holy Spirit, help me, fill me afresh again, you would honestly be tired. Your mind, like I said, is your greatest office as a creative. I keep using law because I'm a lawyer and a creative, right? And I do both. So I'm comparing how I operate when I'm in my legal mind and when I'm in my creative mind. When I need to create, even shooting this video, literally, in order to get myself to shoot this video after not shooting in a while, I needed to make setup, like put my setup the day before, so that the more I saw the lights, I'm like, okay, Valerie, you have to shoot tomorrow. You have to shoot tomorrow. I love consistency. Consistency builds discipline. It builds excellence, because the only way to be good at something is to keep doing it, right? I remember listening to an interview from a YouTube, and he said something. Whenever people reach out to him to be mentored by him, he tells them to go and create 100 videos. And what usually happens is 2 things. One group of people would be like, I'm not creating 100 videos. Another group of people will create 100 videos. And by the 100 video, they will realize that they don't even need him to mentor them, because when you do something 100 times consistently, You build its repetitive learning, and by the 100th time, there are things you would have known from the first video. The third video will be better than the first, the 10th will be better than the first, and you just keep going like that. But while consistency is important, there needs to be a place where, especially as Christians and Christian creatives, you have a place where you can go back and just rest and allow yourself to be replenished and to be refreshed and poured into. And that place for me is the space of being and dwelling with the Holy Spirit. The third thing that I learned is that I'm not perfect. I tend to really be a perfectionist sometimes. I like things being done a certain way. I like to do things a certain way. I like to, organize myself a certain, just everything has to be organized. Like I remember in law school, one of the things that my roommate and I used to fight over, her name is Daniela, by the way, I always mention her on this channel. One of the things we used to fight over was the neatness. We're two neat perfectionists. So if I put a pillow here, don't move it. If she puts something there, she doesn't want me to move it. So it's like, whose neatness is... It's funny now, but then it wasn't funny because we actually used to have full-on arguments and we were friends. So it was a season that I think God used to prune me and train me to realize that I can't have things done my way. Even this past weeks when I was sick, there's a way I like things to be done, and I couldn't do anything. And I came to the realization that it's okay to have some imperfection sometimes, and things don't always have to be organized and put together and structured, because some plans that I planned were falling away. And I was like, I planned this, I took my time productive. The Ali Abdalini was coming out, and honestly, I realized in this period that it's okay to plan something and not have it go the way I planned, because sometimes God has better plans. The fourth and last thing that I learned from me is to leave space for random play. I believe that as creatives and as people and as adults, we are gradually losing the art of play. I know this because whenever I now go to places where I can play, like I remember a few months ago, October, it was my friend's birthday in the beginning of the month, and then my birthday. And I remember when I went for my friend's birthday, her name is Fikemi, and we were just adults playing, right? We're playing, we're watching, and then that day, fan club Arsenal happened to be playing a match, and we were just adults, full-grown adults, playing like children, playing, children games, Bible games. It was so fun, and I felt like my soul was refreshed and replenished. And I was like, I don't remember the last time I did this. Maybe once in 3 months, gatherings where you just gather with people and just play, or just go out and play alone, go and bounce on a bouncing castle, just go and do something. I'm a filmmaker also, right? And one thing for me is film has become work. I think that's one of the downsides of being a filmmaker, is while everybody's watching a film and they're saying, wow, I really like this actor, this is so interesting. Do you know what I'm seeing? The first from scene one, I'm thinking in my producing mind, how much was the budget for this film? I'm looking at the cinematography. Oh my God, I like this. I'm looking at the lights. I'm thinking of what the gaffer was thinking when they were doing. I'm hearing sound design. I'm thinking of the sound. I'm hearing the ambience. I'm hearing... but then whenever I'm around my fellow filmmakers, they get it, and it's something that we find really exciting to talk about when we're watching a movie together. We can't help it. Like, we're like, oh my God, how much was the budget? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, with my people. But when I'm with like my friends that are obviously not filmmakers, they don't get that excitement for me. I remember when I was watching a movie with one of my friends, and I just kept saying, oh my God, imagine how much the producer spends on this film. And she was just looking at me like, girl, can we just watch this movie? Can we just watch this movie and can you like shut up? Like, I'm saying that to say that when I fell sick this past week, I don't remember the last time I watched a movie that was not for learning purposes. Like when I'm watching something, even if a movie just comes out, I'm watching it and I'm learning something from it. When I'm on YouTube, my YouTube has even has trained itself to automatically recommend to me videos that I will be learning from. While I believe it's important to always keep learning and growing, I believe now that it's important to leave space for random play. And so in this past week, when I was sick and I was down and I couldn't do anything, I literally opened YouTube and I opened Netflix, and for the first time in months, I was watching TV without any reason for watching. Like, I wasn't watching it for learning. I wasn't watching it to know the production value. I wasn't watching it to learn anything. I was just like, I felt like for the first time I was existing as a human being. I was going out not to record. Whenever I'm out, you want to record, and you're like, oh, you don't know when we need these bureaus. I didn't care. I went out, I had fun. No video, no picture. As a creative, you just get so obsessed with you need these shots and you just need these shots. You don't need any shots. Sometimes you just actually need to be and exist. I wouldn't say that I'm happy that I felt sick, because nobody wants to fall sick, and I don't believe God uses sickness to teach us anything. God doesn't give you illnesses to teach you anything. But I would say that in this period, these are 4 things that I learned, and I'm honestly grateful to be back. I've said before that on this channel there are like different kinds of things that I want to talk about. I don't believe that because I'm a Christian I cannot talk about different things. I believe I'm a very dynamic person. There are different things that I have interest in. I have interest in tech, I have interest in IP, which is intellectual property. I'm a lawyer. I have interest in filmmaking. I have interest in different things, in lifestyle, in vlogs. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of different things, and I'm saying this just so that when that happens, you're not shocked and you're like, why is she reviewing like phones? I'm a human being. I want to express myself in honestly all the different ways that I can, and yeah, that's just it for this video. I really just wanted to stop by and give you guys like a really nice chit chat of what's been happening, and I'm just going to be showing you guys the space now. So are you ready?